Originally, I was just going to do 4 Magic Treehouse books, and I wanted to get back to my other writing, which I really enjoyed writing. I was writing a mystery series with bugs. I was working on a lot of retellings of folklore and fairy tales, and I was also working on a book on the religions of the world, which meant a lot to me based on my background of studying religion and traveling all over the East. So 4 Magic Treehouse books, mass market paperback books, perhaps they'd make enough that I could support some of these other habits, you know, because they were going to go out in a much bigger way than the more what you call trade books, books that would end up more in libraries and small bookstores. So that was my intention in 1991, I think. And the 4 books came out, and suddenly something happened to me that had never happened before. I started getting letters from teachers and from kids and parents. And I'd never gotten letters like these before, where I thought these were my simplest work and not my most, you know, artistic work. These letters were phenomenal in terms of how a kid learned to read on the books or how a kid wanted more of the books. A child would send me their own Magic Treehouse story. All these interesting things started coming in. So when Random House said, would I do 4 more, I thought, well, just 4 more. It wouldn't hurt anybody. So I'm just going to jump in and do 4 more. And when those 8 were done, by the time they were done, I was traveling all over the country visiting schools. I just fell into this groove of wanting to be with kids and talk to them about the series. I was getting their ideas about where Jack and Annie should go. I would arrive at a school and they'd have all these projects for Magic Treehouse. They would have bulletin boards and stories and do little plays. None of this had ever happened before. So suddenly I just was caught up in the energy of that. And then Random House asked for 4 more books. We got up to 12 books. And about that time I said, there's a future here. This is so intoxicating to be part of the educational process. And teachers were playing a big role in inspiring me and in talking to each other and getting the books around. So at that point, we said, what would be the most educational way to continue this series? And we thought, well, what's happening is I'm taking a different subject with each book. Teachers and kids want to know more about each subject. What if we start a nonfiction line? And I think there was a name for this in education called paired selection. You take fiction and nonfiction and get kids to understand the relationship. So we had a perfect setup. So my husband Will took on that job because I was pretty busy with the fiction. And he's an excellent writer and a great researcher. And he started the Magic Treehouse research guides. And we did one on knights and castles and mummies and pyramids and the rainforest. And they started coming out as companions to my first books. And then we leapt over some subjects to do more curriculum-connected subjects. So teachers started playing even a bigger role. We got teacher advisors. Teachers started writing to us. We were writing back, asking their advice. We got several teachers as official advisors. And at that point, this became a serious educational tool. And so after Will had done, I think, 8, he was going to ask to do a Magic Treehouse planetarium show at Chapel Hill. And so he left to do that show, and then 2 more subsequently. And that's when we pulled my sister on board to take over the nonfiction line. So the Magic Treehouse research guides now are a big part of the whole program. There are about 17 of them out there. And Natalie and I tour with her books and my books. And this way, a child who's more of a nonfiction reader gets to come in from that angle. A child who's fiction, you know, gets over to nonfiction through the fiction. And hopefully then all children use this as a launching pad to go and read more about a subject of interest beyond our books. That's what we encourage in the nonfiction is you can do your own research and you can go on the internet, you can go to a library, you can go to a museum, whatever. And we want children to be curious and to find that gaining knowledge is fun. We try to keep it fun by, you know, encouraging their curiosity and their interest. And I think it's as fun for us, more fun now than it ever was. And I'm working on my 41st book. So somehow that whole thing of changing your subjects and opening yourself to the world is a real motivator for the writers as well as hopefully the readers.